Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jenny here. Julie asked me to speak on her team call, and I unfortunately couldn't be on the Team Cup call for her today. But I told her I would send a video, and I wanted to share it with you guys as well in case you want to share it with your teams leading into Team Cup. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sort of my experience with Team Cup back in February. You might remember that our Girls on Fire team was 8th place in the Team Cup in February, and it wasn't something that we necessarily intended to do, but we certainly worked hard in the month of February, and we ended in 8th place. So I wanted to give you some of my tips and a little bit of our story from February to maybe just help you better prepare for your Team Cup in August. The first thing I have to say really is just making sure that your team has the right mindset heading into the Team Cup. So I probably was a part of, I don't even know, multiple Team Cup teams. I've been a coach for 5 years, and I led a lot of Team Cup teams over the past few years. And it seems like heading into those Team Cups, doing those weekly calls, I didn't really set the expectations very high, and I didn't really ask for people to change their mindset. People came into it with objections, like coaches came into the calls saying, oh, I struggle with Success Club, and I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I don't know who I'm going to talk to. And they would have all these sort of negative energy around it coming in. And it wasn't until this past Team Cup where I experienced positive energy, and I experienced really just encouraging my team to change their mindset as to what they can do, that we really experience success. So I encourage you to literally not let negativity into your Team Cup. If people start to have objections and they're starting to question whether or not they can really do this, then you need to have a conversation with them about shifting their mindset. So that's the first bit of advice that I have. When we started our Team Cup in February, the very first call that we had, I have a member of my team who's now one of my diamonds who literally asked us, what do you think it's going to take, Jenny? What do you think it's going to take to win the Team Cup? And prior to her question, I hadn't even looked into it. So after that call, Chris and I both sat down. He looked at all the results from the last couple years of Team Cups, and we established that we needed to shoot for at least 50 points per person in order to have a shot at winning the Team Cup. Now, granted, when I introduced this idea to the team, it was like, yeah, freaking right. We are not going to have 50 points each. Nobody really necessarily thought that we could, but when we had that sort of high expectation and that high bar, I remember saying to my husband, well, if we each land at 10 points each, then that's still raising the bar, because everybody who was on my Team Cup was used to hitting Success Club 5, pretty consistently, but not necessarily every month. So shooting for something like 50 was going to raise our bar and raise our standard. Okay, so it's a mindset shift. The second thing that I wanted to talk to you about was gaining support from your family. One thing that we talked about very early on was looping my Team Cup members, looping their spouses and their family members into what it was they're doing. If you're really going to tackle August with enthusiasm, if you're really going to have high goals like helping 50 people, then you need to be looping in the people that you're surrounded with most. You need to let your spouse know that you're going to be tuning into the weekly calls. You need to let him or her know that you're going to be that you have high goals, and the more that they're able to help you share, the better off you'll be as well. So spousal support is also key. Last but not least, really it's so key to get your team to check in with you via Zoom. I used to do Team Cup calls just over the phone. We would have a call-in number, like a conference line. And it wasn't until in February, when we had our Zoom call where we could all see each other and really feel the energy of each other, that we built camaraderie, and that truly, I believe my team sort of started the process of creating buy-in, having buy-in in my leadership as well. So I encourage you to have Zoom calls, weekly Zoom calls where you can check in with your team. You also want to obviously track your progress as you move along. You get those weekly emails with the status updates on how many points you have. You want to make sure that the whole team is aware of that. So the bottom line is, the intention is not to scare your team members. The intention is to help them change their mindset to a more positive one and to set the bar really high. Okay, so good luck to all of you heading into Team Cup. I know my team's excited. You should be too, because I know in the past Team Cup gets to be this thing where we don't even really know what it is, and our new coaches are confused because they don't want to be in a competition where there's pressure. But it's up to you as the leader to step back and say, how can I make this a positive experience? Because if we all end up hitting Success Club at the end of the month, it's a positive experience, right? So set the bar high, change the mindset, and good luck.